Oh, you're here already. I was getting ready for story time. And I'm going to tell you a story about the time when steamies and diesels learn how to work together when they build a new airport and a new suspension bridge on the island of Sodor. Do you want to hear it? All right. Well, I debut Calling All Engines. Hope you enjoy it. Summer is a busy time on the island of Sodor. The engines love to show travelers around the island. They visit the seaside, the windmill, and the new Sodor suspension bridge. Whoa! Look how big the Sodor suspension bridge is! What do you think? Shall we see what happens next? One morning, Sir Dolphin Hat came to the sheds. He had a very important announcement to make. A new airport is to be built on Sodor, and I need you all to help. The engines were very excited. Thomas and Percy were coupled to their freight cars full of bricks and timber to take to the airport building site. Imagine all the travelers, chuckled Thomas. And all the airplanes, puffed Percy. Whoa! Do you think Percy and Thomas would see the travelers and the airplanes? Let's see. Then, Ari and Bert arrived. Stinky Steamy's in the way again, mumbled Ari. Why do we have to work near them? Grumbled Bert. This made Thomas and Percy cross. They didn't want to work near the diesels either. The diesels were oily, and they seemed very different to the steamies. Thomas, Percy, Ari, and Bert worked at the airport all afternoon. They shunted freight cars full of bricks and tar. The diesels bumped Thomas and bit Percy. Dirty diesels, moaned Percy. I don't like them. Thomas and Percy had been so excited about working at the airport, but Ari and Bert were there, and now it wasn't any fun. That night, a hurricane swept through the island. It was the strongest wind the engines had ever known. All night long, the wind howled down the tracks. It tore down the trees and ripped off roofs. Uh-oh, sounds like trouble. Ari and Bert are not agreeing or not liking working with Thomas and Percy at all. This may be trouble. Let's see what happens next. The next morning, Thomas gasped at what he saw. Bust my buffers, he cried. Look at what the wind has done. The seaside had been battered, the windmill was wrecked, and the Sodor suspension bridge had collapsed. Thomas felt terrible. Uh-oh. Look what the wind has done. I think Thomas and his friends are going to work really hard to build the bridge back up. And if they had time, maybe they'll rebuild their sheds. What do you think? Shall we see what happens next? Sir Topham Hatt came to see the engines. The hurricane has done lots of damage, he said sadly. Everyone had to work even harder if he wanted to open the airport. Aaron and Henry brought bricks to the airport building site, while Diesel arrived with a load of timber. But the diesels weren't talking to the steam engines, and the steam engines weren't talking to the diesels. Everyone was cross. Uh-oh, sounds like trouble. The steamies and diesels are not talking to each other. Do you think they'll learn how to work together? I don't know. Let's see what happens next. That afternoon, Thomas had to collect some paint for the bridge. He popped into the builder's yard to pick up the pots of paint. But Diesel was in the yard too. Now I'll show Thomas who's best, Diesel whispered. And he gave the freight cars an extra hard shunt. Paint pots flew into the air and splattered down all over Thomas. Thomas looked very silly indeed. Spotty boiler, laughed Diesel, and he rolled away. I'll show those diesels, Thomas huffed. Uh-oh. I think there's gonna be even more trouble now. What do you think? Shall we see what happens next to see how the steamies and diesels are going to get along? Let's see. So the next time Thomas saw Ari, he gave him a biff. And when Ari saw James, he gave him a bash. Soon, the diesels and the steamies were biffing and batting and being bashed all over the island. The engines were in a terrible mess, and no work had been done. That evening, Sir Robin Hood came to see the engines. He was very angry. "You have caused confusion and delay. The seaside is still a mess. The bridge isn't painted, and we will not be able to open the airport. No travelers will come to Sodor this year." "No travelers?" moaned Thomas. "And no airplanes?" groaned Percy. All the engines knew that they had behaved badly, and they were very sad. Uh-oh. I think the steamies and diesels are not getting along really well, and they're not behaving when they're working either. What do you think? Shall we see what happens next to figure out how they're going to work together as a team to make the Sodor come to life again? Let's see. That night, Thomas had a dream. He was puffing along a misty mountain track, and there was Lady. Lady was a very special steam engine. She worked high up in the mountains. Lady was shunting trucks with Rusty the diesel engine. Thomas was surprised. "We always finish our jobs when we work together," puffed Lady. "Always finish your job and work together?" Oh! So that's why the steamies and diesels are not getting along. They're not working together as a team because they're not finishing their job first. I think that's the reason why they're not getting along. Let's see what happens next. The next morning, when Thomas woke up, he had an idea. First, he went straight to see Mavis. Mavis was a kind diesel engine, and Thomas knew she would listen. He told Mavis that he wanted the steam engines and the diesels to work together. Mavis agreed. It was the only way to get the airport open in time. "Let's have a big meeting with all the engines at the coaling stop tomorrow," Thomas puffed. Thomas and Mavis went to see the other engines to tell them about the meeting. Thomas told Percy, Mavis told Diesel, then James, then Ari, then Emily, then Bert. Ooh, I think this meeting is going to be very important. And I think they're going to have to find a solution to work together as a team to get the airport open in time. Shall we see what happens next? The next day, the engines gathered at the coaling stop. The steam engines and the diesels were all lined up. Thomas blew his whistle. "Steamies and diesels need to work together," chuffed Thomas. "If the airport doesn't open, it will be bad for all the engines. Both steam engines and diesel engines need passengers and freight to be useful. If we work together, we can get the job done," puffed Thomas. And all the engines agreed. What do you think? Do you think Thomas's advice about working as a team and working and teamwork will pay off? Get the Sodor ever open in time? Let's see. After that, the engines worked harder than ever. They hauled bricks and timber and cleared away debris from the storm. They moved paint and tar and made sure there were enough workers to do each important job. And all the engines were careful not to bump or block each other. Even Diesel 10, the biggest diesel engine of all, agreed to help out. Soon, the engines were even joy working together, smiling and joking as friends will do. Before long, the airport was finished. It had shiny buildings and a big tall control tower. And the runway was long and smooth. The engines were very proud and very excited. Wow! I think Thomas's advice about teamwork and working together as a team really paid off. And the airport is amazing. What do you think? Shall we see what happens next? I can't wait for the travelers, puffed Thomas. And look, peeped Percy, here comes the first airplane. And from that day forward, the steamies and diesels have all agreed that working together is a good thing to do. And that's the end of the story. Woo! What a fun and interesting story about teamwork. And everybody knows that there is no I on the word team. Because when we're together as a team, things will make everything go faster. And everybody knows that teamwork makes a dream work, of course. Wow, there are so many things that you can do about teamwork. And working together as a team can be fun. Thank you so much for coming for story time today. And please make sure you subscribe to my channel for more story time. And come again next time when we do some more story time adventures with me, Uncle Jason. Same story time and same story time channel. And always remember, there is no I on the word team. And when you work together as a team, things will make everything go faster. And like they always say, many hands make work lighter. Well, until later, see you next time for more story time. Bye!